everyone. How are you? I hope you're doing well on this beautiful day. And the weekend was beautiful. I hope you got to get outside and do a few things outside. Today's class will be for the neck and shoulders. So just a couple of questions. Have you ever stuck your neck out for someone and that situation didn't turn out very beneficial at all? Or have you ever had someone be a pain in your neck? Literally. We all have. So I didn't give the class a particular name, but neck and shoulders will be our focus for today. Louise Hay is one of the ladies that I love to follow her information and then apply it to my life. She wrote a book called Heal Your Life, and in her book she has emotional components for all of your body parts, along with diseases and disorders that are associated with certain body parts, and then positive affirmations to follow along with that particular disorder. So she says for neck pain, she lists a couple of different things that I want to share with you, with hopes that you will probably sit with this information a little bit and then recognize, am I this way, or no, I'm not that particular way, and then how might we make some changes. In our practice today, you'll need a couple of blankets, a belt, and today I have a wall rope up, but I will show you toward the end of class how to use your belt to set up for traction along the base of the skull, just to get some length within the neck. So let's go back to Louise's statements. Her first statement is that the neck represents flexibility. So when I think about that, I have to ask myself, am I just flexible on the mat and in a yoga class, or am I flexible in everything in my life? Am I just set in one way of thinking? The ability to see what's back there being the past. Sometimes we have to look back at those situations before we can ever heal on all levels. And sometimes the past is not very pleasant, and we just don't want to go there. We'd rather stay right here where we are. But sometimes we have to look at that and then make peace with that before some of the issues in the neck might actually heal. Now, I know there are situations that yoga may not help with some of the neck tension, but it's a great place to start. So number 3, she says, is refusing to see all sides of the situation. Can you look at all sides, not just your point of view? Can you look at someone else's point of view and see where that might be a valid point? 4, stubbornness, inflexibility, or unbending. Are you able to bend? Too much to cope with. When I think about times like now, the coronavirus, it seems like, oh dear Lord, I can't cope with this. How am I going to deal with it? But I have to remember that I have many tools in my toolbox, and we have been given guidelines to follow. So I feel like if I take my tools that I have and the guidelines that they have given us, make the best of a not so good situation. And then life overload. Do you feel overloaded by life? So a couple of body parts that we'll look at today would be shoulder tension and how that might travel up into the neck as far as pain goes, just from tightness in muscles. So when we look at the emotional component of the shoulders, that is burdens and our responsibilities. And we have to stop and ask ourselves, are these burdens mine Are these burdens that have been placed on me from my work or family? Are these burdens someone else's that I just chose to tend to? And I'm not telling you how to deal with those. I'm just trying to bring some, just a different thought or a new light on a situation. And then neck tension. Neck tension can also be created from the throat chakra. The throat chakra has to do with communication, how we communicate to the world, how we communicate to our family, how we communicate to ourselves. Are we able to express ourselves authentically? Do we communicate clearly what we need and what we want in our relationships? Are we being our authentic self around everyone? And if not, more than likely there's some issues through here, through the neck. And then there's the upper back and chest. So grief and sorrow and sadness is associated with that part of the body. Unexpressed grief or unreleased sadness stores in this part of the body, and tissues begin to harden. We wall our heart off. And then it doesn't necessarily, when I say grief, it doesn't necessarily have to be the loss of a loved one. Like in death, it could be a divorce and what that does to a family. And then there's also the middle back, which is insecurity and feeling powerless. So feeling unsupported by life or unsupported by people. So just a few things to think about. Before we begin our sequence today, if there's any numbness, tingling, or pain, I ask that you leave that particular exercise out of the practice and move on to the next. So let's start just with a simple breathing practice. And today I'll invite you to direct the breath into the area of your tension. So if it's in the back body or in the upper chest, then imagine sending the breath into that part of the body and feel it up like a balloon. And with your exhale, let that go. See if you can focus on letting it go, even if it's just for the moment. Okay, so taking a comfortable seat, please. Allow your eyes to close. Ground down into the buttock bones. Allow your shins to drop towards the floor. Equally lift the sides of your waist. Support that lift by drawing the bottom of the belly in and up. Lift your breastplate, broaden across your collarbones, and soften the shoulder blades down. Allow the elbows to fall in towards the waistline. Gently lift through the crown of the head. And begin to draw your mind away from the outside world and more inward. And then recall one of the areas that I mentioned from Louise Hay, or about the shoulders, neck, chest, middle back, to form an intention. So possibly you could use the intention of, I see all sides of the situation clearly. Or, I am fully supported by life and the people in it. Or make one of your own choosing. And And then breathe that intention into your body, into the cells of your body. And then lift your palms together in front of your heart center. Allow the thumbs to rest right at the center of the breastplate. And with your exhalation, bow head to heart. Release your palms down. Gently open your eyes and lift your gaze. So, I want to go over, before we actually get into the sequence itself, basic movements of the neck. So there is flexion when we draw the chin down towards the chest, and there is extension. Now, in extension, you don't want to just drop the head back. It's more of a lifting of the chin upward so that you don't compress cervical vertebrae. And also there is the twist or the rotation. So turning the head to one way, center, turning the head to the opposite. And then there's the tilt. So in the tilt, I like to teach it as a way of lifting the ear away from the shoulder versus dropping an ear towards the shoulder. So if I lift my right ear up and away from the shoulder, I try to keep, good distance or pretty close to equal distance on both sides of the neck versus just dropping it down. And in the style of yoga that we practice, we do not practice neck circles because number one, that can restrict some blood flow to the brain, and number two, it's just too much pressure on the vertebrae going around in the circles. So the flexion, extension, the rotation left and right, and the tilt are the safest way to create space within the neck. So let's, while we're sitting upright, let's check your rotation going to the right and then to the left, and remember no forcing, and remember it's early in your practice, so your rotation may not be at its full range of motion. So let's root down, inhale, lift up, and as you exhale, turn your head to your right. Notice possibly how far you can look behind you. And then bring the head to center, and as you exhale, turn your head to your left. And then come back to center, and was there a pull or a tug on one side of the neck when rotating? Now I'm going to come down onto the floor and check it reclined and see how it may differ. Now, one thing I want to encourage you not to do is to lift the head up in order to make that turn. Lots of times when I'm asking students to rotate their head left or right, whether it be on the yoga mat or I'm working with a massage client, they'll lift the head up off of the table to rotate the head. So try not to do that. So come onto your back. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let your head fall to the right. You might find, oh, that's nice, a rotation reclined. And then inhale, bring the head up. Exhale, drop your head to the left. And then inhale, bring your head up to center. Let's do that a couple of more times. As you exhale, gently rock your head and neck to your right. Inhale up to center, exhale, drop your head to the left. Now work within your range of motion. We'll do one more time to the right. And one more time to the left. And then back to center. So the next section that we'll be moving to kind of resembles one of the exercises in the morning series, but we'll do it from bent knees, and it's to help with myofascial restrictions. Don't break up some of those patterns. So place the feet to the floor, let your gaze be directly upward, and then just begin to rock. And then pause, and let's repeat it. Inhale, exhale, rock. And pause. And then let's turn the head to the right and repeat. And center, and then turn the head to the left and repeat. And center. Now let's roll to the right and gently push yourself upward. I'm going to fix my shirt again. Probably fix my hair. It's probably sticking up everywhere. Now let's do the neck rotation again and see if possibly that one little bit helped with a little more range of motion. So inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn your head to the right. And center, and exhale, turn the head to the left. And center. So now a group of muscles that creates a lot of tension in the neck is the sternocleidomastoid muscle, and it usually gets tight when we don't speak our truth. So I want to you use like the two fingers, the index and the thumb, and you move the muscle tissue like you are rubbing money together. And I want to turn my head, I'll drop my head over to, we'll drop it over to the, it'll be my my right, your right. So if you hold up high at the top of the neck here, and then just get a chunk of muscle. Keep the head turned to the side. You'll be at the top part of it. And it's probably really tender, so rub that part with your index finger and thumb. What's the side of the index finger? So rub it, and then release it, and you work your way down. Grab a hold of another piece of it, and then come a little lower. It actually has two heads towards the bottom. One is right here on this part of the clavicle, and the other one's over just a tad. So you could get closer to the sternal notch, and then go over just a tad and pick up the other piece of it. And then work your way back up the neck towards the jawbone. And then you could do that 3 times. You could do that anytime you're watching television. Now this side feels really good, and this side is talking to me, so I want to drop my head to my left, and then get up high towards the jaw. Can you see that? And then gently rub that together. Now most of us are probably going to have some active trigger points in there. So by stimulating those, we are telling the brain, hey brain, I need you to send some of the body's natural painkillers to this part. This is lovely. So we'll come back to that at the end of the class. Just double checking to see how things are. Now we're going to start off with some shoulder rolls. We'll go in one direction 6 times and then reverse it. So draw the shoulders up towards the ears, draw them back, shoulders down, draw them forward, draw them up, draw them back, draw them down, draw them forward, draw them up, back, down, forward, up, back, down, forward, up, back, down, forward. One more, up, back, down, forward. Now, we draw back, up, forward, down. 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 How does that feel in the body? So now let's work with flexion and extension. So flexion, you just slowly drop chin to chest. Feel that up the back of the neck. And then lift chin to the ceiling. And you can extend the jawbone a little more. We might look funny doing it, but we get a lovely stretch all across the front part of the neck. And then bring the head back to neutral. You can try it again, chin to chest, and then lift up. Try one more, chin to chest, and lift up. And then back to neutral. So you might already feel a few changes happening in the body. So we're going to start now with some just head rotations, and then we'll practice it a couple of different ways. So let's switch the cross of our legs. I've set one particular way for a little bit. I need to switch. So let's take a deep breath, and as you exhale, turn your head to look to your right. And then take your other hand. You can press down into your prop. You can press, you can turn my prop the other way. Sit on the front edge of it. I can turn the head to the right, and I can use my fingertips to press into the floor to help me get a little more sensation up the side of the neck. And then come to center, and then take the left hand behind you, left hand behind you. Turn your head to look to the right, and then press the fingertips down. Notice if you feel a little more sensation. This little part of the area is where the scalenes are. There are a muscle group that tend to get tight. There are 3. And then come back to center. Let's repeat it going to the other side. As you exhale, turn your head to your, it will be your left. Press your right fingertips into the floor. And center, and then turn head to your right. Press your left fingertips into the floor. And return to center. Let's try one more time. Take the head to your left. Press your right fingertips into the floor. And come to center. Turn the head to your right. Press your left fingertips into the floor. Notice what you feel. Lovely stretch. And then bring the head back. So now we work with the tilt. So you lift, we're going to lift our right ear up and away from the right shoulder. Okay, so inhale, lift up. And then as you exhale, lift your right ear away from the left shoulder. And extend your right arm off to the side. And you might want to play with a couple of different heights. So mine is down at a diagonal from the shoulder girdle. You can bring it up. Notice what that might feel. I don't feel so much there. What happens if you turn your palm forward? And then what happens if you make your fingers like you're going to open a doorknob? And just rotate the arm forward and back a couple of times. And then lower the arm down. Bring the head slowly to center. Let's go to the other side. So this time you're going to lift your left ear up and away from your left shoulder. So inhale to lift. Exhale. Lift the left ear up and away from left shoulder. Notice how this may differ from the other side. Possibly add the arm down. at the diagonal of the shoulder. Maybe bring it up a little higher. Which one do you feel a little something more? And then cup your fingers like you're going to hold onto a doorknob, and then begin that rotation. How does that turning of the doorknob actually stretch in the neck, top of shoulder? Might even feel it around the deltoids. Deltoids being here. And then lower the arm down, slowly lift your head. So I'm going to turn sideways for you so that you can see this. And this might be one that you want to have your belt handy. Okay? So I'll come back to facing you in just a moment. Now, for some of us, interlacing the fingers are easily done behind the back. But if not, I'll tell you what, let's just all use the belt. Okay, so when I start, I want to have my hands so that they are shoulder width distance apart. And if I had them, they would line up right beside the outer hips. So give a little tug on your belt, and then inhale, lift the arms away from the back pelvis, your blankets or your bolster, whatever you're sitting on, and then deepen the breath. So we're targeting the front of the chest here, the place where I said we held grief. Now, a couple of things that you need to be aware of is, did you allow your knees and thighs to pop up and away from the floor? If you did, see if you can relax them back down. And then slowly lower the arms down. Now, if you can, let's walk your hands in an inch or so. And then again, root down into the sitting bones, lift your chest. Give a little pull on your belt. As you inhale, lift your arms up and away. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention that we have to look for is allowing this round to happen to give the illusion of getting the arms higher. No, keep the chest lifted upright. Keep pulling on the belt. You can even bow chin to chest to get a little more of an opening. And then lower down. Now bring your hands so that the thumbs touch. Okay. So move the knuckle mounds down. Lift your chest. As you inhale, lift your arms. Once the body wants to round forward, then we pause. And the third thing I wanted to remind you of is to breathe. Deepen the breath into the front of the chest. Feel your shoulder blades moving to each other and into the back to assist in the opening of the heart center. And lower down. So now I'm going to turn to face you. And we might need to, I'm going to hold the buckle in my hand because I have a tendency to let it cling to the floor, and that's rather annoying. So when I want to have my arms wide enough on my belt so that when I take the arms behind me, there's not a bend in my arms and it's not a strain. And as the shoulders begin to open up, you can always creep your hands in a little closer together. So switch the cross of your legs. And then root your sitting bones down. Lift the sides of your waist up. And now bring your belt down in front of you. As you inhale, lift your belt up. As you exhale, slowly take the belt behind you. As you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, come down. So that's one. As you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, drop back. As you inhale, come up. As you exhale, drop down. That's two. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up, exhale back. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. We have 4 more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 3 more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's do 1 more. Now, just set your belt down for just a moment. You might need to do a shoulder roll or 2. Do so. The next one, we take the belt. It's similar to that. We hold the belt the same way, but we're going to take the belt on the diagonal, okay? So take a deep breath. Inhale, lift tall. As you exhale, pull your belt down to your left. The right arm is going to lift up. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, pull the belt down to your right. Lift up through your left hand. Inhale, up. Exhale, pull down to your left. Lift up with your right hand. Inhale, up. Pull down with your right. Lift up with your left. Keep going. So this too helps to open up the chest. Studying B.K.S.I. Iyengar's work, he will say that open armpits, no depression. So how nice is that? We'll do 1 more to your left. 1 more to your right. And then bring the belt up and lower the belt down. You can kind of set it off to the side for just a moment. Roll your shoulders out. The next one that we'll practice is like kind of like a figure 8, but like you're rowing a canoe or kayak kind of thing. I'm going to switch the cross of my legs again. Take the belt back up, and the move happens from the shoulder blades, and it's a lot easier to do it here than it is to do it here, okay? So it's a big movement, and you're doing it, letting the shoulder blades do the work for you. So give it a try. I'm not going to really give any, can you reverse it? Not really giving any breath work with this. And then you can just let your belt come down to the side for now. So another one that is really good to open up across the back body and between the shoulder blades and to target the rhomboids and the middle trapezius is Garudasana arms, eagle arms. And we'll do that today. So there's a couple of things to work with here. So if you are not able to interlace your hands, then you can work here with the arms apart. And the other way that's really good to do this is just to give yourself a big hug. And one way, whether you do the full pose of the arms or a modified version, you get benefit from either one of them. We will focus the breath between the shoulder blades. So we'll put the mind there when we do it. So bring your arms out to shoulder level. We will start with your right arm over your left. So as you exhale, sweep your right arm over your left and hook your elbows. Okay? So this is where you ask yourself, do I need to stay here in my practice and work to press the hands towards each other? Even pressing the hands together or just toward each other, you feel an opening around the shoulder blades. So if you can set your left hand inside your right, do so. And then spin your left thumb in front of your nose. Let's turn sideways so that you can see. I just have to sit upright. Now lift your elbows, especially the bottom elbow, so that it lifts pretty close to level with the shoulder. Some of us may already feel sensation here. You're welcome to stay there, but please know you can move your arms forward, getting a bit more of a spreading, and you can also bow chin to chest. So let's take 3 deep breaths into the back of the shoulders, between the shoulder blades, targeting the rhomboids, the middle trapezius. And then slowly lift the head, release your arms down. So I'm going to spin around to this other side. We'll take the arms back out. Now I won't turn to the other side for you to do that direction. I've already demoed on the other side. So now let's, as you exhale, cross your left arm over right, either working here, trying to get back of palms to each other, or set your right hand inside the left. Okay, and then spin the right thumb towards the nose. Notice if you feel any sensation there, please know you can stay here. Otherwise, lift the elbows so that the bottom elbow is pretty close to level with the shoulder. And then deepen the breath, and on your exhale, bow chin to chest. Feel those shoulder blades spreading apart. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then slowly lift your head on your inhale, release your arms down, and then take a shoulder roll or 2. So now we're going to take the belt back in hand for Gomukhasana arms. So I want to make sure that the tail, we're going to do it a little bit differently today. I think this will be fun. So I'm going to make a little loop and then slide my wrist bone in the loop. And then I can clasp my fingers around both belts. So here I am, I've got my arm up, got it looped around my hand. And when I take the belt around the body. So let me back up here and put this on the right hand for you. You'll have your right hand, set your hand in your loop, clasp your fingers around the belt, take your arm up. And then sweep the arm around the body. So now that's already pulled the tricep in towards the ear. And then drop your hand down between your shoulder blades. So I'm going to sit sideways here. So you can see, take your right arm off to the side, spin your thumb down, and sweep it behind your back to hold something, okay? So it could be down low, or you could even creep it up a little higher towards the top part of the belt. Now, one of the things that you want to be aware of here is what's happening with your head. Did you turn it to the side? Have you got it dropping down? Can you keep it in line with the spine? And know that your shoulders will not be symmetrical. Direct your breath into your shoulder blades. Now I'll give a few more instructions here. Draw your right shoulder blade out and up and pin it in. And the bottom shoulder blade goes down and in and to the ribs. And then drop the hand down, take the arm up and around. So now let's do the other side. Put the belt on your wrist of the left hand. Take the belt around you, drop the hand down between the shoulder blades. Take the Right arm off, thumb down, sweep it behind you, find the belt. All right, so now what's the left shoulder blade doing? It goes out away from the spine. It lifts upward towards the ceiling and it pins to the upper back ribs. And the bottom shoulder blade draws down and in, into the spine and into the ribs. And the breath is directed between, all around the shoulder girdle. And then release the hand down and let's bring the arm around. So now we're going to have to do a little bit of belt looping 101 because this can be a challenge for some folks. And if we don't get the belt position in the correct way, then tightening the belt will be difficult. So I have the lip of my belt. If you have one of the studio's white belts, the lip of the belt curls up and then the flap falls towards that lip. Tail of the belt goes under and I let the little metal piece flap back and then I thread through. Okay. So I'm going to come to standing for this one. This is to help release the levator scapula, release tension all around here. So I'm going to come to standing for this one. I'm going to set my bolster off to the side. And I want to place the belt so that it's over, it'll be my left, your right, okay? And I want to hold my hand to the belt here. So my belt needs tightening and I've got to be able to pull it, okay? So now I want to start with my elbow bent. Now notice I have it right here on this upper trap. Okay, so the elbow is bent, and when we straighten the arm needs to come completely straight. So we have it right here by the hip, right up here on the upper trapezius. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, push down to get the arm to straight. And then release, and then push down to get the arm to straight. And then push down to get the arm straight. How's it feeling? And then release. Okay, so now we're going to take the belt so it's more back towards the back of the hips. And I think I'm going to add a little head movement here. Yes, okay, so now I have the belt towards the back. I'm going, and I can barely get my arm to straight. So I want to push down and pull forward a little bit. And then go back to the starting point of push down and pull forward. And release. And push down and pull forward. And release. Now I'm going to face you for the next one. So if you need to tighten the belt, do so. It's still at the back side of the hip, up here on the trapezius. So I'm going to push down, pull forward. I feel this roll back. Now add a turn. Turn the head to your left and come back. And then push down, pull forward, turn the head to the left and come back out. Let's try it again. Push down, pull forward, turn the head. Oh my goodness, such good stuff. And bring the head back to center. Now let's take that off and we'll put it on the other side. Okay. So we start here on the side. Belts up at the upper trapezius. We'll take a breath and exhale, pull down. And then release. Let me tighten it a little bit. And then take a deep breath, exhale, push down. release, and then exhale, push down, release. Now I'm going to pull the belt back so that I have my hand towards the back of my hip. Still the belt stays up top. Now push down and pull forward. So you'll feel as if upper trap is going back. And release. And then push down and pull forward. And release. And push down and pull forward. And release. Now I'm going to turn and face you again. And this time is when I want to turn the head. Okay? So I'm going to towards the back, push down, pull forward, turn the head. Come back to center. Push down, pull forward, turn the head. Push down, pull forward, turn the head. And release. Take your belt off. Notice how good that feels in the upper shoulders. And now I want to come down to the floor for a bent knee twist. But let me back up. Before we do this, let's go back to our shoulder rolls. So draw the shoulders up, back and down, up, back and down, up, back and down. And then reverse it, up, forward and down, up, forward and down. And then can you get your right shoulder, the shoulders going in the opposite direction of each other. So I'll do it'll be my left, your right, going back. And then can you switch, having one going one way, one going the other. And then reverse it. It'll be my right, your left, going back. Here we go. Whoop, got it going the wrong way. There I go. Whoops, we got it going wrong again. So when we can't get it going the same direction, we're creating a new pattern for the brain. And I can't get it. But that's okay. Getting it on this side is totally, not getting it is totally okay, because we're making new patterns, new neural pathways to the brain. Once you got it, it's not a new pattern anymore. So let's come down onto the floor. And let's look at a bent knee twist. So take your arms out to a T formation. Bend your right knee. Place your right foot on your left thigh. And take your left hand to the outside of the knee. Now keep your bottom leg active. And on your exhale, turn your torso or turn the knee to the left as you turn your head to the right. Take a couple of breaths here. One more. And then bring the body back to center. Let's switch legs. Take a deep breath. Exhale, rotate the hips to the right, but turn your head to the left. One more breath, and then come to center. Now, I am going to bring you back up again. I know it's been a lot of up and down, but there's a couple of things I want us to do. I want us to go back over the SCM muscles, noticing if some of the places that were tender are possibly a little less tight or a little less tense. And then I want to talk to you about the belt for the neck traction. So comfortable seat. I'm going to sit in Virasana. So drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Start high at the neck. Get a hold of the muscle tissue and money sign all the way down. And then go back up. I'm going to do this one more time. Hopefully some of the tenderness that you felt At the beginning, it's not quite as intense. Drop your right ear towards your right shoulder, and then get that tissue. Work your way down, and then back up. And then 2 more times. Feels lovely, right? So, for Shavasana today, or a variation of Shavasana, I will not be using my sticky mat. So that I'll just go ahead and fold that off, put that up into the side. And so if I was using my regular belt here, I would make the belt long so that I could hook this piece over a doorknob. So if my hand was a doorknob, I could hook this over the doorknob and it'd be secure, and then I could hook this piece for my head. So it still resembles the same thing as here. I want to be able to have my belt so it's just barely touching the floor when I press my fingers to it. Now, I'm going to recline down so that you can see this. The belt is going to go at the occipital ridge and over your ears. So we might look a little funny to begin with, but that's okay. So I'll recline onto bent knees. And I'm hooking my belt, so turn sideways so you can see, right around the occipital ridge and behind the ears. If you have glasses, you might want to take that off. And then I bring my hands to the wall. Now, you won't be able to do this if you're using a door. But I want to push myself forward and away from the wall. If you're using the door frame, you can just use your feet and hands to scoot yourself away. So you want to feel as if you're getting some traction in the back of the neck. And then when we release, it'll be a rush of warmth into that particular place. So you could, if you want to, just hang out here, or you could add a little rotation. So I'm going to take a deep breath and turn my head to the right, and then I'm going to let go and let it just bobble. And then I want to take another breath, exhale, turn to the left, and just bobble. And then I want to settle in. So for purposes of today's video, I will be coming out. However, you could stay here as long as maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So I'll demo coming out. You would bend your knees. And then I'm going to hold the belt with my hands. So I'm going to hold the belt with my hands, bend the knees, lift, slide that off of my head, and then let the head come back to the floor. And then just enjoy that rush of warmth into that part of the body that's tense. And then bend your knees slowly. Gently roll to your right and push yourself upward. So I want to take a moment to say thank you for joining me today. I hope you have time to get outside and get some beautiful sunshine. So let's bring hands together in front of your heart center. And again, thank you all so much. Namaste.